Hi, this is Kerry Artek with Wicked Stocks bringing you the daily Apple report for Monday, January 23rd, 2023. Before I jump into the charts, please click like and subscribe if you haven't already. It helps us out a great deal in being found on YouTube. Also, share the content if you would with friends and colleagues. So let's take a look at the big picture and work our way in. 3-4 weeks ago, we tested long-term support. On the weekly chart, not so much. On the daily chart, yeah, I'll show that in a moment. But low 120s, this area able to contain selling on a quarterly, possibly annual basis. And from here, the market has been expected. We've had an objective in the 140s as a 3 to 5 week target. I think I was saying 1 to 2 months at the time, and now it actually may be over the next few days. This 141.70 to 146.93 region wide band of meaningful midterm resistance, midterm resistance, 141.70. This long-term speed line able to contain buying through February, and from here we could fall back into the low 120s again within a matter of possibly 3 to 5 weeks, 2 months at the most, and there you have it. And if we were to close above 141.70, this is a repeat of what I've been saying, then, is it a long-term buy signal? On one measure, it is. But in terms of follow-through buying that I think is reliable, you really need to wait for a settlement above 146.93. And then I think we're probably 2 to 3 months away from reaching into the 170s. In fact, I've been mentioning how after having tested this 120 support, the channel top that's not labeled here in the 170s can be considered a 3 to 5 month target, perhaps. It could take longer, especially if we top out in the 140s as is anticipated and fall back into the 120s, which is not necessarily anticipated but certainly allowed. So it could take well into 23 to realize the 170s, but as long as we're above the 120s, this is my upper objective later this year. There's a big test in the 140s, and we'll just see what the market does with that test. Now, if we were to take a look at the daily chart, and just show that we've got rising channel support at 133.56 today that is supported by 133.18. I'll show that in a moment. But the point I'm making here is that within the week, we can and likely will test that 141.70 speed line, that targeted speed line, over the next 3 to 5 days, holding above 133.56. Now, closing below 133.56, I'm no longer comfortable because of the steepness of this channel bottom, anticipating outright full downside continuation into the low 120s again. I think that would come, and this is kind of a zoomed in, that would come with a settlement below this rising 2/3 speed line that today is at 130.44. So the way I'm framing this is, as I mentioned in the previous slide, holding above the 133 handle. I've got 133.56 as that rising channel bottom, but there's also a new very short-term channel bottom that if we back off Monday, open a little lower and begin to fall back, it is the 133 handle, 18 to 56, that can absorb selling not only for the day, but quite possibly into later week, and above which 141.70 in reach over the next 3 to 5 days. If we were to close below 133.18, 130.40 in reach tomorrow. Now, there is the possibility that things get ugly right out of the gates on Monday morning. I have no reason to consider that being likely. But if so, if we break 133.18, if we break, where are you? Sorry, there we are. If we break 133.18 early in the day, 130.44 is attainable today, where once again we can bottom out for the week and from here turn back up, and within 2 to 3 weeks of testing 130.44, we can round back up into the 140s again. So this is kind of like 130.44 base, 141.70 resistance. We could trade inside this range for the next few weeks. And I don't have an indication for 130.44 unless we close or break below 133.18 today. Close below 133.18, and we should reach 130.44 tomorrow. Now, if we do close today, and that's highly unlikely, but if over the next couple of days we close below this 130.44 speed line, then we should fall into the low 120s again. This would likely be inside of 2 weeks. So closing below 130.44, this area is once again anticipated. This is the daily chart version of that, comes in at 121.73 to 122.47. But once again, on the weekly chart. Everything comes together at 122.14 to 122.25.
Hi, if you enjoy watching our daily Apple report, you'll love our daily Triple Q and SPY reports. They're presented in the same 5 to 10 minute video format. Our daily SPY and Triple Q analysis provides directional market signals that are correlated with highly specific price support and resistance levels. Whether your trading time horizon is short or longer term, we promise you a distinctive edge in your trading of the SPY and Triple Q. We offer a 5-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. So go to wickedstocks.com right now and start receiving your daily SPY and daily Triple Q reports today.
Now, for the day itself, let me back out of here. I've got soft intraday pivot points, 135.21 below the market. That is the low settlement price following last Wednesday's high right in here, and we can ease back to it. We could bottom out there on an intraday, possibly daily basis, and if we break 135.21, then expect the 133 handle support. I'm speaking really now to the more aggressive day traders. 140.35, I do believe I have that labeled somewhere, and yes, it is here. You can see this kind of double bottom pullback low from late November, early December. 140.35 was the first and the more meaningful, in that we rallied here. I don't know the exact number, within about 3 or 4 days. We fell back to this area, even took it out. This low, the second low, is actually 140 even, FYI. But I'm focusing more on the first low because it had the more meaningful upward rally off of it. And it is an intraday resistance area. And if we happen to push through 140.35 today, then the 140.170 speed line is in reach, where we can top out, as I say, through February and fall off from here, back perhaps into the lower 120s within a month or two of doing so. But as I just mentioned a moment ago, I don't see a real clear, reliable sign for go with selling pressures to the downside unless we actually close below 130.44 at this point in time. And finally, if we do close above 140.170, then 146.93 becomes a 3 to 5 day target. I have these areas kind of, they're coupled together, but as I mentioned, I think a couple of days ago, as we approach this 140.170, I don't see us closing above it today, but I will then fill this area in between with meaningful minor points, several of them that we can use on the way up to 146.93, which can also contain buying on a weekly, if not monthly basis, and is our upward pivot point into the second quarter. If we were to close above 146.93, we're 2 to 3 months away, I think, from reaching this 173.59 level, which could actually contain annual buying pressures, perhaps, if tested later in the year. You know, I don't think there's really a whole lot else to say. I'll leave you with this chart. This has meaning for the day, and that's all I've got. I'll be back, of course, tomorrow with Tuesday's Daily Apple Report. You have a great day, and we will talk soon.